If you are brand new to candle making and have no idea where to start with what fragrances to have because you don't know what's gonna sell well for you and you just don't know where to begin, this video is for you. Hello everyone, if you're new here, I'm Alan with EarthGlow, and on this channel I share tips and tricks on how to make quality candles coming from someone with a background in chemistry, but most of my content that is my most favorite to film is on fragrances. If you're not new, you'll already know that I'm a little bit obsessed with fragrances and proud, so if this kind of content brings a smile to your face, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out. But in today's video, we are gonna be talking about 5 oils that historically my customers just cannot get enough of. And this is not just me. I've talked to a number of other candle makers in the community and also at farmers markets, other makers that I've met locally, friends and acquaintances online. And people in general just cannot get enough of these 5 oils. Now, they are all from CandleScience. I'm kind of doing this as a, if you're brand new to candle making and you wanna know which oils I think will sell best for you from CandleScience, then this is the video for you. But I do also wanna say that a lot of this does depend on your branding and marketing and kind of what your niche is. So I'm gonna try to offer verbally some different alternatives to each of these 5, but I really want you to think long and hard about why you would pick an alternative if you do decide to, because these 5 just do so well with pretty much everyone that I've talked to in the candle making community. I also want to say that these oils all have what I would consider a 5 out of 5 for hot throw and cold throw. And now I've tested them out in a number of different waxes, IGI 6006, 464 soy, which that is a story for another day, and not just with these fragrance oils, but I'll link my video talking about why I don't use that wax below. But I have actually sold a lot of candles with these oils successfully in that wax, as well as Soy 10, CB2, and 𝘴𝘶𝘴𝘏𝑒𝑟𝑒𝑐A Coconut Apricot. Now, I also was thinking about how when you first start a candle business, you kind of want to have one of each category. So, and this is just how I would look at it. And I know a lot of other makers have said the same thing, and I would agree. Obviously, you want to be within your niche and whatever's going to be best for you within that niche. But you do kind of want to touch on a number of different categories because people like different things. So, for example, you want to have something that leans kind of fruity, something that leans kind of more floral, something that leans kind of more baking, and then maybe some more masculine cologne perfume-like type of a scent, or something that's more novelty. And that's kind of what I would say would form the basis for my first 5 scents. Now, stay tuned till the end of this video because I'm going to be mentioning some different alternatives to each one of these so that if you have a particular type of branding, you could kind of focus this more towards what you might like to brand these as, or more towards something that might fit in your idea of your line. Now, as I said, these are in no particular order, so let's just get started. All right, this first one here is one of my personal favorites, and that is Cashmere Plum. Now, I don't think there's many other companies that I've seen sell an oil like this. It's very unique. It is what I would say an oil that does lean high end. It is a fruity oil, and I think they actually introduced this one for a fall fragrance launch, but oftentimes oils that may be marketed for fall or for winter, you can brand them however you want. However it fits best into your candle line is the right way to brand them for you. But this oil, I would say, has like a subtle black cherry note to it. It has a very dark plum note, but not in a perfumey type of a way. I would say it's a very true plum, but it also leans kind of high end. So I could see you branding this as, you know, I sell mine as Tuscan plum, but you could call yours like parchment plum, or you could sell it as cashmere plum, or black plum and cashmere, velvet plum, damask plum. There's a lot of different ways you could brand this one, however it fits into your line. Now, also let me know if you guys would like a video on how I go about naming my fragrances, because that is a really fun job that I'd love to talk more about if you all are interested. Next, we have Cactus Flower in Jade. Now, a lot of companies have a fragrance like this. It's oftentimes sold as Baja Cactus Blossom. Brambleberry has one called Lush Succulent. But the one from CandleScience I've found historically has the best hot throw, and it's got almost a little tiny bit more of a green note to me that's more like an aloe vera note or something that just has like a leafy type of a green note, like a jade. But there is a subtle floral in the background to this as well. So this is a great scent because it kind of is in between a number of different categories. I would consider it a clean green floral type of a scent, but not a predominant floral. It's kind of a novelty in a way where it's in between a clean type of a scent, so like a fresh linen-y type of a scent, but it's more of a green aesthetic than like a true linen aesthetic. And then you do get that sort of hint of cactus flower in the background to it as well. Now, customers go crazy for this all year round. I sell mine during my Pride collection in the month of June, and I've sold it as my Bloom candle. And this has historically been my bestseller in that collection for the last 4 years. Yeah, it's just a scent that I can see, like with all of these going year round. That's another thing I forgot to mention at the beginning is all 5 of these scents, I want it to be something that you could keep in your line year round and customers would just kind of be asking for them throughout the whole year. Okay, next I want to talk about one that I do have in my summer collection and have for the last 4, actually no, this will be either the 5th or 6th year. I can't exactly keep track of how many years I've even been in business. It's been 5.5, but the year that I started my LLC, I was kind of on the road. And so I don't have like a clear anniversary. So I'll be like, oh, maybe I've sold this for 4 years or 5 years without knowing exactly. But it's been at least 4 years. And this is mango and coconut milk. Now I sell this in the summertime as my Golden Girls candle. It's a really beautiful mango and coconut milk. I have to say it's the best one, and I've smelled a lot of different versions of this scent. The CandleScience has to be my favorite. It is a true to life mango, but then you also get a warm, kind of cuddly coconut aesthetic to this, and it smells almost like someone's skin when they're on the beach and they just have that tropical glow. But then it also has like some subtle other fruity and woodier notes that I pick up to this one. Almost a tiny bit of peach. Doesn't come through synthetic at all. It is a sweeter scent, but customers just go crazy. I sell this as Golden Girls in the summertime, but I know a lot of people who do this one year round, and customers just cannot get enough of it. Next, this is one that I actually have in my serotonin collection, which is my year-round collection of bestsellers. And this is called Sea Salt and Orchid. Now, a lot of companies have very similar versions to this. The CandleScience is the one that I've tested most thoroughly and that I do use in my own line, and customers just cannot get enough of it. It kind of straddles the line between a floral and a fruity fragrance and a clean fragrance. I sell mine as Sunset on the Lake in my serotonin collection because it just kind of gives that watercolor marine aesthetic while also bringing in some orchid notes, not like a headache inducing, really heady, top heavy floral. It's a very well balanced, I would say, floral that also has a little bit of freesia and a little bit of light musk to it in the base. Doesn't really come through musky. It's just a fresh, clean type of a scent, almost like waves at the beach while the sun is coming down over the coast. And then last up, this is a fragrance that customers just go nuts over, and I've tried to speculate as to what it is on why this type of a bakery scent is so popular with customers, but it just is. I don't know what else to tell you. This is Banana Nut Bread by CandleScience. Now, I do use this in a blend. You could use it totally by itself. I know a lot of people do. It is more of a banana pudding type of a fragrance to me by itself, so I blend it with kind of another fragrance to give it more base notes, kind of that sugar and that kind of bread component that I want to give it a true banana nut bread. But this one does really well by itself, and customers cannot get enough of it year round. I've sold it as banana bread and walnut. It is in my serotonin collection, my main collection of bestsellers, and it's just a scent that's so cozy and nostalgic. A lot of people associate it with like their grandma's kitchen growing up, and it has some subtle spice notes kind of in the background, like a little bit of nutmeg, and there's also some kind of vanilla to it, and a tiny touch of cinnamon, I would say, but you don't really pick it up as cinnamon. It just smells like fresh banana bread wafting from the oven. So that is banana nut bread. All right, so let's get on to the alternatives. So for banana bread, and I do just want to clarify again that if you're going to choose something that I would say would be an alternative, you want to think long and hard about why that is an alternative for you, because customers do really tend to like these scents. But CandleScience has a fragrance called Very Vanilla, and that is what I would say a true to life vanilla cake type of a fragrance. Now they do also have a new fragrance oil called Vanilla Cake Pop, which also, it smells spot on like a vanilla cake pop. But I've historically used Very Vanilla in my line as actually my chosen family candle, my Pride collection, and people just tend to really like a good vanilla. That's a note that oftentimes if you sell online, some people will look for specifically in the fragrance oil and then purchase it specifically for that note. Now, there will be other people that avoid it specifically for that note, but a lot of people tend to really like vanilla. So that would be one alternative to this. Now, another one, I'll put the name up on the screen, but it is called, I believe, it's called Oat Milk and something. And it's a fragrance, I think it's spiced oat milk. And that is a fragrance that I would say is more of one of their newer scents, but I really liked it because it again kind of brings some of those spicy notes without being too cinnamon heavy and kind of a vanilla note, but then you also almost get an almond note to it as well. I would say that it is more of a niche fragrance, more so than banana bread, so you really want to think why you want that one if you do. But it is a beautiful fragrance and is very prevalent hot throw, and it's one that I would definitely say is a beautiful gourmand. Now some alternatives to sea salt and orchid, and this is kind of hard because this fragrance, I don't know, people just really tend to like it. But if you're looking for something that may lean, say, a little bit darker, a little bit more mysterious, but yet you're still trying to capture that spa type of a floral, I would recommend the fragrance. I actually don't have any more of it, but it is a fragrance that I use along with CandleScience Sandalwood to form my Prague candle, but I will put the name of it on the screen. It's like jasmine and blackcurrant and jasmine, I believe it's called. And that fragrance is very similar to sea salt and orchid in several key ways. First, it is kind of a cleaner type of a floral that does also have, I would say, a little bit of berry note to it, but has a really well-balanced profile in terms of the base. It does lean sweeter, but it's not sickeningly sweet. It's definitely not what I would call perfumey or headache-inducing in any way, and I feel like it just checks the box for a lot of people. Everyone that I've had purchase or smell my Prague candle has been obsessed with it. Now, I do, like I said, blend that one with a little bit more sandalwood, but even without that, it's going to give you that upscale spa type of a scent that really checks the box for someone who wants something fruity a little bit and something clean and a little bit floral. So for mango and coconut milk, I think an alternative would be, well, you could do their santal and coconut. That is a fragrance that a lot of people do tend to like. That's more of a woodier leaning fragrance that does have some coconut, but it's not nearly as sweet as mango and coconut. Or you could do their coconut 𝗴𝘍𝘍 fragrance. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but that does happen to be one of my personal favorites from CandleScience. And that is a fragrance oil that I would say is very unique. It definitely leans high-end spa, but the coconut in coconut 𝗴𝘍𝘍 is more clean smelling. It's not sweet at all, and I wouldn't even consider it that fruity. It is kind of a fruitier scent, but it's more of like a clean type of a novelty scent, I would say, and that is one that I would definitely recommend if you have, I would say, more of a higher end spa type of a line. A lot of people really do like the mango and coconut milk though, but my personal choice would be the coconut 𝗴𝘍𝘍. I think that it is just a gorgeous fragrance oil that you get this kind of woody balance of coconut with some clean type of vibes with it. And then you also do get almost like an amaretto top note. It's very subtle, and there's a little hint of pineapple, I want to say, in that as well, but I still wouldn't really consider it fruity. It's more of a gorgeous upscale novelty scent, but I would say it's definitely an alternative if you're looking for something not quite as sweet as mango and coconut milk. Next up, cactus flower and jade. So if you're looking for a floral type of a fragrance, I wouldn't quite go gardenia tuberose or something that's really going to punch you in the head floral, except if you really want to do that, I would say consider either Wild Honeysuckle by CandleScience or Honeysuckle Jasmine. Now, historically, I have sold Honeysuckle Jasmine in my summer line as my hummingbird candle, and people have just gone crazy over it. It's not my personal favorite at all, but that doesn't really matter because, again, a lot of customers really love that scent. I tend to prefer something that's more clean, more of a green type of a scent, and, you know, customers a lot of customers do too. But if you're looking for a more heady type of a floral scent, I would recommend going with either their honeysuckle jasmine, their wild honeysuckle, and of the two, they're very, very similar. Like I said, I've used honeysuckle jasmine, but either one is gonna work pretty well, or moonflower nectar. Now, moonflower nectar reminds me more of something that I would get from like Bath and Body Works. It is more of a, I would say, it is a floral type of a scent, but it's more of a purple floral, and it has more of a kind of romantic spark to it, I would say, and more of a kind of sparkly, mysterious vibe to it. The other thing I like about moonflower nectar, and you could also use moonflower nectar as a substitute for sea salt orchid too, because again, a lot of these do kind of straddle multiple categories, which is, I think, good. I think that you want to have something kind of from each category if possible, but some of the ones that are more complex are going to overlap multiple categories where they're not just a floral or just a fruity scent, if that makes sense to you. But yeah, the moonflower nectar is one that is just once you smell it, you'll never forget it. And I feel like I have not had that one in my line, so I can't speak to how it sells, but based on like the reviews on that scent and based on several friends that I do have that sell it, it does really, really well. And if you're looking for something kind of more dusky and kind of more mysterious and sensual, then I would definitely recommend moonflower nectar in place of cactus flower and jade. Or if again, you're looking for that more of a heady type of a strict floral, I would recommend wild honeysuckle or honeysuckle jasmine. Honeysuckle jasmine does have a mid note of jasmine, which is a sultry, a little bit sweet and nectary, but dead sexy floral note that leans high end. It has a dead sexy muskiness to it, and it's used in a lot of perfumes that are that are very high end perfumes, and that's because it has that kind of sweetness, but it is in a way that is so sensual at the same time. And so honeysuckle jasmine has that component to it, but then it also has kind of a brighter lemon type of a top note, which a lot of people tend to like, and then the base is just kind of it's just kind of a light type of a muskiness in the base, but it comes through as a predominantly floral fragrance. And then last, Cashmere plum. So if you're looking for an alternative to this, you know, it kind of depends on where you're going, right? Because this is more of a fruity fragrance. A lot of customers tend to really like citruses. CandleScience is one of the few places I'd recommend getting citrus fragrances from, because they're never going to come through, in my experience, as smelling like gasoline, and a lot of times citruses do. And I'm gonna post some more content on this in the future, and I'll even link one of my videos above, but it is just a chemical reaction that happens when you're burning a lot of citrus fragrances, and fragrances that are rigorously tested for use in candle making, like fragrance oils from CandleScience, just will not do that. So anyways, guys, I would definitely recommend maybe like grapefruit and mint or grapefruit and mangosteen. I also do a blend of CandleScience Orange Blossom with Blood Orange, and I call it my Florida Sunshine candle, and customers just go crazy over that. But I would definitely recommend substituting this out with like a citrus or something if you are gonna want to do a fruity scent, but not quite this type of a plum scent. Now, another thing, another oil that they just recently released is their olive leaf and citron, and that kind of straddles the line again between something that's going to be cleaner, more exotic, and also something that does have a citrus type of a component to it as well. It has like a top note of like a bitter citrus, actually, like a bergamot type of a rind note to it. And that's another idea too. You could even do matcha and bergamot by CandleScience. That is more of a niche oil though, I would say, in kind of same case with the olive leaf and citron, but maybe even more so with the matcha and bergamot. But I know a lot of people really tend to like citrusy type fragrances, so an alternative to something like this, I would recommend going probably with something that's going to be more of a citrus. Anyways, guys, that is going to be all for this one. If you enjoyed, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you're able to of some of your best sellers from CandleScience. Again, this video is in no way sponsored or affiliated with CandleScience, but they are one of my favorite companies, and I do talk about them a lot on the channel because I just really like their business practices. I really like their commitment to clean scents and their rigorous testing that they do on all their fragrance oils for use in candles, as well as a number of other products. Anyways, I'm sending all of you peace, love, and light, and I'm wishing all of you happy candle making. I'd like to take the time to thank my patrons for their incredible support.
Trusting your instincts, realize that knowing looks different to each when living authentic. do more exploring, deeper than knowing just what is essential for life that is thriving. Go deep, mute out the chatter, feel it, burn off the fire, let go until there's peace to your core. Live a life you adore. From the program, removing performance, true self, all that's standing. Live free from worry, live by just being. Power in finding your wholeness in now. Go deep, mute out the chatter.
Stay authentic at all costs and never lose your spark, because that's what makes your brand uniquely you. I'm rooting for you, and I know you have what it takes to be successful and to have fun with this craft. Until next time, happy candle making.